Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Jahnavi. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So before I begin, I'd like to tell our viewers. So Probono India has a YouTube channel, and they normally don't post video interviews. They do more of announcements of competitions, essays, good work of their interns, and social legal short films. But of course, this is going to be new for them. So COVID-19 has forced us to adapt and evolve. So basically, this is our first ever video interview of our interview series. We normally post like interviews online on the official website. So it is really my honor to be selected as the first guest interviewer, and I have this opportunity to interview you. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing good, and I'm glad that you guys are starting this video interview series, and I'm really happy to be a part of that series.
You're the first one.
Wow, that's great.
So before I begin, I'll just give a brief about the structure of this interview. So it's like a 5-part interview. This is going to be round one. So round one is a sort of an icebreaker. We want to know more about you. Then round two is introduction. We want to know more about Pink Legal. Then round three is specific issues. It's just about your opinions. Round four is about collaborations, and round five is concluding remarks. So I'm just going to begin now because we really want to know about India's first portal on women legal rights. I know that's a status that your Pink Legal website has. So let me begin. The question number one is, what's a day in the life of Ms.Manasi Chaudhari like?
So a day in my life is normal. I get up, I do my morning, like I have breakfast, etc. Then I start my work. And so I'll tell you my day in COVID life because that's what I'm doing right now. And then I start my work. I'm at home, working from home, and then I try to wrap up my work by evening. And evening is for unwinding. I go cycling, then I watch some TV.
So,
And
so you do step out, even
definitely,
COVID.
yeah.
That's
I mean, in my so we live in a gated community so over there.
That's fine. Okay, so what is your top memory from law school?
My top memory, I think, would be our graduation convocation ceremony when I topped my batch and I was awarded the bronze medal. So I didn't know about it. It was a surprise, and I was suddenly my name was called on stage, and I was so thrilled.
That's nice. So what was your experience with Justice D.Y Chandrachud like? We know you've worked with him.
So my experience was fabulous. It was more than what I could ask for. I mean, not only did I learn the law and I understood so many aspects, but I learned so much from him as a person because he is one of the most important men in the country. But he is so humble, so down to earth, and so sweet and so nice that you really learn how to be a leader from these kind of leaders.
That's great. So any other founders or CEOs, like you founded Pink Legal, so anyone you personally look up to?
So not in the legal space because I look up to people from different spaces.
Yeah.
So I look up to Malini Agarwal, who runs this, Miss Malini, which is more to do with, but I like how she has, as a woman entrepreneur, come up and really made it. And then I have a couple of entrepreneurs who are not from India. So they have their own ventures, and they're bloggers, and they do multiple things. So I look up to them as well.
So all fields, holistic views. Nice. Okay. So any quotation that guides you or resonates the most with you in your life?
I would say strive for excellence and rise above mediocrity. So this is what the guiding factor for my life. Because, a lot of people fall in the mediocre average bracket, and then you have to distinguish yourself from that.
So if I were to say to a bunch of people who know you, obviously, so give me 3 adjectives that describe Miss Manasi, what would I hear?
Maybe different based on their relationship with me, but generally I would say if somebody doesn't know me personally, they would maybe say driven, ambitious, focused. I hope they would think this about me.
So nice. So moving on to round 2. This is introduction to Pink Legal. So first of all, introduce us to Pink Legal. First of all, I am so excited to know, how did you come about this name? It's really catchy. Pink Legal. Okay, so tell us, like, if you have any stories or how did it come about, the name, etc., etc.
So the name, actually, one of my friends. So we were brainstorming about this website and different names. Earlier, it had a different name, and then I took that down. So I don't know. So he came up with this name, and I just loved it so much, and I was like, yeah,
Oh.
that has to be. And then I thought further about it, and pink, if you break it down, it also stands for power and knowledge, and that's also one of Pink Legal's mottos, right? Because we are empowering women through the knowledge of legal
Yes.
rights. So I found that it is the perfect fit for our platform. And to tell you more about Pink Legal, so as you introduced us, we're India's like first platform which is dedicated exclusively to women's rights and women's laws. And our entire vision is to basically bridge this gap between the law and people, help women understand their legal rights and empower them to take steps in case they need to.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be saying, if you want to like so the main, as a law student, I always wanted to do something to bridge this gap, but the main like the factor that gave me that push was when I experienced something myself in about 2017. My car and another car met with like a small accident. I was driving home from work. It was late at night. We were in my city and in the city center. But still, so we had this small accident. Our bumpers touched, and I was alone. And then two boys came out from that car, and then they started harassing me. They started banging on my door, like on my window, and trying to pull open the door. And they were really aggressive, and they were screaming and hurling abuses and etc. They broke my mirrors also. So they weren't letting me drive away. And though this was a city center, there was nobody around. Nobody came to help. So I somehow got home safe.
Mm.
And usually what happens is people think, okay, let it be, like you're safe, no, so
Yeah.
leave it, don't say anything. But I decided that if I keep quiet, then these guys are just going to think that it's okay to do something like this because they have no consequences, they can get away with it. So I decided not to keep quiet. The very next day I went to the police station to file a police complaint, and it was my first time in the police station as well. So I was clueless as the next person. But because I know the law and I knew my legal rights, I was confident. And the police also, they could see that. They took me more seriously. I had my FIR and everything done. And that whole experience helped me understand personally how difficult it can be for a woman, who doesn't know anything about the law, to actually take that step, go file a police complaint, or go file a court case. It can be very daunting. And then I really decided to break down everything, explain everything. So we have a big section on police complaint as well on our website, where we explain what is the procedure, etc. So this is the whole the impetus behind Pink Legal.
That's really nice. And the website is actually very comprehensive, I must say. So, what was the
Thanks.
initial response to Pink Legal like, and how is it now? Like, it's been a few years.
So actually, it's not been a few years; it's been a few months, because we
Really?
launched this year on March. 8th
Oh,
March
I read
2020 is
somewhere
when.
that 2017, you started.
No, 2017 is when I started working on it, because I faced this
Oh.
accident and all of that. But we launched this year.
Mhm.
So we're about 4 months old, and the response has been phenomenal. And yeah, it's been great. So many people have shared our website, and there was this WhatsApp message which went viral, and we were getting it from different sources, about Pink Legal. And we've almost had about, I think, 70 to 80,000 people who visit our website. And so many people reach out to us with legal queries, or we also do like campaigns, webinars. We did a webinar today itself, and we had a great turnout. So response has been great. Really happy to say that.
So, give us a close look into your team, your working and functioning. How do you make this happen?
So we have three teams on Pink Legal. One is our team with the advertising agency which we work with, which is Tetramind. It's based in Hyderabad, and so they take care of the website and the social media and all of that stuff. Then we have our legal team, where we have students from different law colleges like Nalsar, Symbiosis, Jindal, and all, who come and intern with us, and they assist us on the research and writing for different topics for the FAQs that we put out. And then we also have the third team, which is our student squad, which is basically, students from non-law backgrounds who want to voluntarily, actively volunteer. And then with them, we carry out like different activities, not exactly legal, but not law related, but more awareness related. So we have these three teams and we function through that.
That's nice. So any two accomplishments or, any campaigns or projects that you've run that you're, specifically or particularly proud of?
I would say our webinar, which we did just today. So today's Sunday night. We had our first webinar of Pink Legal today, and we were all nervous. We didn't know how it would go, and it went excellently. Like, it was really good. And the response we got, the number of people who signed up and attended, so everything went really well. So as a team, we're all feeling really happy because it was a teamwork. And apart from this, I think just launching the website itself was very memorable, because that was also a milestone, because it's relatively a new venture, right?
That's amazing. So the last question for this round is, how has COVID-19 impacted Pink Legal?
So because we are completely digital, it has not really impacted us directly. And also we started just before. So Janta curfew was on 22nd and we launched on 8th. So, we're actually we were launched during COVID times, and we don't have a pre-COVID time. So we've always functioned this way. So, it's not really affected us in any, I mean, we won't know if it was, if it
You've just begun. It's still a baby. It's okay. So round 3 is on specific issues. So have you witnessed any significant positive changes in the Indian legal regime? Like, this is just, and now I know that Pink Legal is just so new. The question was more like that during the, after the inception of Pink Legal, what changes you've seen. But anyhow, you've been working for a while, you're a law graduate and now a lawyer. So any changes, positive changes that you've seen that give you hope, okay, finally, Indian legal system is heading somewhere?
So one would definitely be the Section 3, those 3 judgments, when I was working with Justice Chandrachud, the 3 landmark judgments that came out, 377, Sabrimala Temple, and decriminalization of adultery. Yeah. So these were really landmark as well as very progressive judgments, because they laid a very strong foundation for gender rights and women's equality. So this gave me a lot of hope. And also, the judges who are currently sitting in the Supreme Court, so they are also quite progressive in their minds. So if a case comes to them, we can, be we can be comfortable knowing that it's in the right hands, and the entire judicial and legal system is moving towards a very positive, progressive way. So these developments are quite, they bring hope.
You've had a really good chance of working on all the 3 landmark judgments. So what are your views on feminism? So do you think there is any need to reshape the notion as we are progressing, or do you think it's just plainly misunderstood these days?
I think feminism is basically equality and, the entire strive for equality. So I think everybody has their own definition of feminism and their own way of approaching it or interpreting it. So you have multiple definitions of feminism floating around. So for me, it means gender equality. And the day that women have the choice, the free choice to do whatever they want and equal opportunities, I think we would have achieved our goal. Until then, we all need to be feminists. We need to keep, working towards this goal in various ways, through law or through any other field, everybody collectively.
So feminism needs to stay. That's right. So one of your goals I've read on the website is to working towards gender equality, which is very apparent. That is SDG number 5. So does the lack of gender neutral sexual laws in India bother you? And do you think we are moving anywhere towards gender neutrality?
So it does bother me, of course. I mean, actually, it doesn't bother me, but I feel like we should have gender neutral sexual harassment laws. But what bothers me more is the poor implementation of the laws that we have currently. So though all our laws are to protect women, women can rarely get protection under these laws because they're not really implemented the way they're supposed to be, right? From filing a police complaint to filing a court case, right? Yeah. There are so many hindrances women face at different levels. So that bothers me much more than laws not being gender neutral. But of course, they should be gender neutral as well.
Mhm. So round four is more about collaborations. So number one, it's like a yes or no question. So would you consider collaborating with Pro Bono India?
Yes, I would. Why not?
Okay,
We do
so
a lot of collab.
yeah, we think of something really nice and come to you. So if we were sitting here a year from now after our collaboration, what do you think we would have achieved?
I think we would have achieved a much wider outreach in terms of both our, common and individual goals,
Hmm.
and also a lot of empowerment among different sections of society. So I hope we have achieved these two goals.
Yes, and I'm hoping for some substantial change like after our collaboration. Okay, the third
Yeah.
question is going to be really important for our viewers because mostly, our reach is to law students, such interns, so under the 5-year program and everything. So, what does an internship opportunity at Pink Legal is like? What's the work like? What do you entail? What do you teach them? And what for both law students as well as the non-law students? And also, what do you look for in an intern? Who's like the ideal Pink Legal intern?
Okay. So I'll answer your question in two parts. So what
Yes.
does the internship opportunity look like? So as I told you earlier, we have different teams. So we have one team of legal, like law students who work on all the research and writing for our different topics. And then we have non-law. So non-law is not really an internship. We have a squad, and it's like a continuous process where, once you're on, you're always like on some of the other activities. So it's like being a part of an organization, more like an internship. But for law students, we have internships, and we just finished one about like at the starting of, I think 2 weeks back, we just finished our one round of like the second round of internship. So we keep opening it up on our website. So if anybody's looking to intern with us, they can check out our website, pinklegal.in, look at the contact us page where we have a form for law students. And if we have a new opportunity, we'll put it up over there. So generally, somebody who's on our legal intern team, they will be working on a specific topic which is allotted to them based on if whether they have previous work experience in that place or in that particular topic, and etc. And they usually work on research and writing, and it's about writing it in the correct form, simplification, etc. So these are the things that they work on. And what I work on them is also like mentoring them and guiding them about how to tailor their writing for Pink Legal, what kind of research to do, what to look for, and to make sure that the quality is top notch. So we have a lot of sessions where we talk about like the standard to be maintained, what are the rules that we follow, etc. So we do that. And the second part of your question was,
What's
so
an ideal
yeah.
Pink Legal intern like?
So ideal Pink Legal intern, usually when I get CVs, I look at, number one, I look at their CV, and I see like, whether it's a correct fit for Pink Legal or not. It could be various factors, maybe like, their academic performance, or they are probably involved in relevant co-curricular or extracurricular activities like legal research, legal writing, etc. So we look at that. And then we also look at whether there is something that stands out. So sometimes when you have like so many CVs, we're looking for something that stands out from that CV, right? So
So do
we
you
look
have
at
like
that
second
also.
part interviews or is just the CV?
So far, no. We had a task. So we ask people to put the CV, and we give them a task, and then they have to do that task, and we look at their performance of the task, and they're also graded on that. And then the third thing I look at is the attitude. So whether their work ethic and their attitude is good enough or not. And I think the task helps us understand that, because whether you submit it by deadline, whether you follow the instructions given, all this shows your work ethic. So we look at a multi-pronged approach to understand whether they fit or not for Pink Legal.
So it's not super easy to get in, but that's nice. So round five, it's all about conclusion now. So have you had any like extremely tough day or a challenge, in this work? And how did you like push through the same?
So the most challenging, I think one of the most challenging days I would have had was before the launch of Pink Legal, because at that time I was working too full. Like, so I'm a corporate lawyer, corporate and real estate. and I do that even now, and Pink Legal is my passion project. So back then I was working in two jobs, one in the day and one in the evening. So I was working with a company as well as a law firm, and I was doing that as well as working on Pink Legal. And just before the launch, we had to get everything. So it's very hectic before you launch because there's so many things to take care of, right? And since it's my baby, only I know what is to be done. I can't delegate this work to somebody else. So I had to do it. So there were days when I would be really mentally exhausted because from morning to night I'm working at my workplace, and then I'm also doing my Pink Legal work. But what would like sort of, I guess, push me through it was my passion for Pink Legal, nothing else. If I didn't have that passion, I would have just left it because I would feel I don't have the bandwidth to take care of that. So my passion, some days, of course, some days I feel like I don't want to take on so much, or like I want to time off, I want to chill. So I give myself those days as well where I just watch a show or like I don't do anything, so just try to balance it out, go with the flow.
So do you like do all these three things like even now simultaneously?
Now I do two things. I've left my evening law firm job. I have my corporate law and Pink Legal.
That's nice. So how do you keep
Yeah.
your team motivated to set benchmarks?
So we do regular, like what we try to do. So we are also evolving as a team, right? So when, as a team, when we had our first project, we made a lot of mistakes, and there was a lot of like miscoordination, etc. Then we had a call. We all spoke about what are the mistakes, what could we do better. So we made a note of that, and then the second project that we carried out, everything went so smoothly because we already sorted everything out. We had prepared ourselves. So how I motivate my team to set higher benchmarks is through discussions, through having like collaborative sessions. We try to get on a call once a week where we discuss. Then I also mentor them sometimes, where I tell them what are the standards. So I have a few formulae that I prefer like all my team members to follow. So I tell them about those formulae, and just always like telling them to rise above mediocrity and strive towards excellence. So that is a way to do it.
So good. So any three traits that you believe all the young lawyers should imbibe?
Okay, one would be passion for law. Any part of law, it's not just litigation or law. Law is very vast and very wide now. So any part of law. Then the other would be to have a drive, or like a focused drive to make your career or to take it forward. And the third would be not related to law, but have more interests other than law as well, because I always believe personally that work is a part of your life. It should not, your entire life should not be just your work. You should be more than your, right? So have other interests as well, your hobbies, nobody wants to talk to a robot who only knows their work, right? You want to interact with a person, and you connect with a person only if you have shared interests or something to talk about. So go beyond just work.
Wow. So where do you see Pink Legal in 5 years from now?
Oh wow, that's like interesting. I haven't thought about 5 years. I'm thinking about it now. Maybe it will, somewhere evolve into like a very, very strong, the main go-to platform for women for any kind of like legal crisis, or it could evolve even further. Actually, I really can't say, specifically, because I believe in evolution, and nobody in February knew that we would all be adapting to,
Very
Zoom
true.
meetings. So
Yes.
I can't think of like 5 years later how we're going to evolve.
But you still dream for the positive and you dream to
Yeah,
keep it
I dream
alive.
definitely like bigger, bigger, bigger. So that is like, a broad idea that I have, that obviously it'll grow much bigger, much stronger, and all of that, wider outreach, deeper penetration of outreach, all of that. But specifically, maybe I cannot think of.
This is so good. This whole session was really good, especially for me. I am so thankful to Kalpesh sir for selecting me. And I would like to tell you, he sends you his best wishes and blessings for Pink Legal. And both of us will really hope that someday we can meet you in person.
Yeah, I hope so too. I would love it. So whenever we are out of the situation, I
Yes,
hope we
whenever
can
this
all
nightmare
catch up.
ends.
Yeah. So I had a great session too. I really enjoyed your question.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Janvi.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.